Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today on 1111 Unified. My name is Luminessa Anjara, and I am so happy that you are here. So what is it to seed a new feminine frequency for a new earth? So first, I'd like to share with you a little bit about my lineage because it has a great deal to do with my topic today. I was given a lineage many, many years ago that came from the temples of Anan. It's a 6,000-year-old lineage based in the teachings of Lilith, the first woman. Now, some of you may have heard of Lilith, and you may think of her as a dark goddess, but that actually is not the true story of Lilith. That is the story that the Hebrew patriarchs of the day created in this telling of the stories of Genesis so that they could have more complete control over the population of the time. Remember, if you can control sexuality, if you can control people through that, then you have control over an entire population. So Lilith represents woman in her complete sexual empowered self. She is whole, she is sovereign, she is free. She's a woman who knows who she is and what she wants. She's not ashamed of her body. She's not afraid to speak her mind. She's not afraid to express her own individuality as well as her sexuality in a way that pleases herself. And as such, she was a woman to be feared. Now imagine men during this time. This was a time when we'd already had a shift in the placement of the goddess's role in the communities that existed at the time, and her role was being diminished systematically over hundreds of years, so that eventually we have her being replaced by a male god. And the feminine goddess was now being reduced to someone who maybe just carried a child within her womb. She was no longer considered the creatress of humanity. So these stories, these myths that get created are done to infiltrate, to, in a way, it's propaganda of sorts for their time. Because over generations, people begin to believe that these are the way they are. These stories are the truth, just as we do in our time today. But I'm here to say that we are ready, women are ready to reclaim once again their original placement in the order of things here on Mother Earth. For we are the original creatresses, the ancestress of humanity. Because we are linked to Lilith, the first woman, imagine, she was the very first woman. And Adam and Lilith were partners in the Garden of Eden. And because they had a partnership, they were equal with each other. Both masculine and feminine aspects of us play together. And today we're here to reclaim parts of our missing, parts that are missing from us as women, because our sexual energy and our sexual empowerment is key as we create this new earth. In our field, as we know, we live in a culture that is male-dominated, that is based on patriarchal values. Now, patri means father, and in our traditions and pretty much cross-culturally, this has been true. So what we've experienced is a distortion in the field of the feminine on all levels. Now, that may be hard to believe, but it's very true. Many aspects of the goddess have been distorted, tainted, you would say. And certainly how we view our sexuality and how women view their bodies, or how we think about ourselves in relationship to our sexuality and its expression, has definitely been distorted and I would say diminished, so that we as women have grown up in culture after culture, in decade after decade, believing that we're not enough the way we are, believing that we need to have something fixed on our bodies to be beautiful, that we have to alter them, that we have to change them, believing that in order for us to be sexy, we have to do something different than just be our naturally sexy selves. So sexuality plays a very important role in the restoration of the divine feminine. We have many aspects of the divine feminine that are on the rise and that have been on the rise for several years. Lilith is one of these new archetypes. We have Mother Mary. We also have Mary Magdalene. Lilith is a different frequency. She is a woman who really represents her full power. She owns her power in a way that other women, other archetypes do not. She is a representation of our primordial sexual energy, and reconnecting with that energy is essential at this time. It's essential for us to reclaim the missing parts of ourselves that we have given away or that have been taken from us into the collective field, that have allowed us to believe that we're anything less than a powerful, juicy, loving woman. So I want to share with you a little bit about Lilith, just to give you her message that she has written for us today. She, first of all, holds the key to the recovery of every woman's goddess nature. So all of us are goddesses. And when I say that, I mean that literally, in the sense that we have a divine blueprint. And this blueprint is held in every woman's womb. This is one of Lilith's messages. And all we have to do is activate this divine blueprint. The memory of our true feminine power is within each of us, not something that someone else needs to give to us. We activate it ourselves through activating the memory of it, through discussing it, and through an activation that we will do at the end of this presentation. She is the embodied archetype of the original and once highly esteemed and empowered, naturally spiritual woman. So there were partnership societies way before we had a male dominator culture. Not matriarchal, but partnership cultures and partnership societies that often existed for thousands of years in harmony and peace. When feminine values are held within a culture and honored, then what happens is science, medicine, arts flourish. And often there's peace that reigns within that culture because men and women together acknowledge and honor each other's roles in the culture or in the community. Lilith's purpose is to help every woman reconnect with her primordial feminine power. Simple, easy. It's allowing ourselves to know that we are composed of many aspects as a divine feminine being. And when we reclaim these aspects, and an aspect could be our nurturing aspect, it could be our very powerful aspect of speaking our words. It could be an aspect that has to do with our sexual expression. I work with different archetypes of the goddess of love. So it could be the aspect of love and sensuality, or our primordial animalistic wild woman aspect. So there are different aspects of the feminine in this particular venue. Lilith is a new archetype of the feminine that is unsullied by the patriarchal values that we live in today. So as we reclaim Lilith's energy, we step into a new vibration of the feminine that I believe most women have never yet felt. How could we feel whole within ourselves and really understand that our sexual power is innate? It is a natural part of who we are, and not something to be sold, not something to be cultivated, but it's something that we are given because we're born as a woman in a woman's body today. This is the life that we came in as. And the more that we step in to this acceptance of who we are and step into our feminine power, our sexual power, a part of our innate wholeness, something shifts within us. So let me explain a little bit about what I define as sexual or sexually empowered woman, because Some of us have some of these qualities. Some of us may share that we are okay in some of these areas, but maybe not in all. So it is important for us to understand how significant healing the field around our sexuality is. Because today we live in a culture where sex is considered profane. And when I say it, I mean literally, you look everywhere, and sex is often, and most often, depicted as entertainment. We no longer hold our own sexuality, our Shakti, our life force, our Eros, that wonderful, juicy, life-giving energy as sacred. There are many teachings that still are trying to reintroduce and teach, but they are not necessarily for the masses. They're for the few who study Tantra or who learn about sacred sexuality. So it's time for women to take their place once again and own that part of their role is to be the sexual initiatress, to be the sexual healer, be the woman who learns how to do and use this energy in a way that can not only heal her own physical, mental, or emotional and spiritual bodies, but also to help her partner. And if she chooses it, to share it with other people in a more healing modality, to do it in that way too. It's time for women to step up into this new vibration of sexuality and sexual empowerment, and why and how it is going to help us to change our personal lives as well as the collective field when we do so. So a woman who is sexually empowered, in my way of thinking, is someone who knows how to handle her sexual energy. She can handle it with confidence. She knows that the more comfortable that she feels with her sexual energy, the more comfortable and in control of it she'll be. She is a student of the sacred sensual arts. In other words, she makes it her purpose or an interest of hers to study the ancient mysteries of sexuality, of sensuality, and to learn how to use it and how to align with this energy to be in a more conscious, loving way. She becomes more conscious around her energy, sexuality. She also loves herself and she loves her body just the way it is. Imagine how that would feel if women today, and especially young women today, really appreciated and loved exactly the way they looked. It doesn't mean that we can't change our looks. Believe me, I was a woman my whole life who was very concerned with how I looked outside. And as I began to mature more and move beyond my 40s, I began to see that even though I appreciate being an Aphrodite woman, a woman who loves to adorn herself beautifully, that is something that is my natural inclination. But it isn't about because I am less than when I don't do that. I'm still a beautiful woman, whether I dress beautifully or whether I choose not to dress beautifully. It's a self-acceptance that I came to. She is also not afraid to express her sexuality in any way that she feels guided to do so. So we begin to be less afraid of this power that we have. You see, men were afraid of women, and Lilith was the example. She was a woman in her full sexual power, and it was pretty scary. Imagine the men of the day who were trying to control and take political power. The only thing that they could do was to diminish a woman's sexual power. They diminished the role of the feminine because it was easier that way. So women have this power that's been diminished. And today, in my observation as a woman and as a teacher of this material, I've noticed that women either exploit their sexuality, they flaunt it because they think that's a way to be empowered. They hide it in some way, maybe by physically, maybe they gain weight, or they feel abused, or they've had many traumas, so they hide themselves under layers of clothing that maybe do not allow them to really feel their bodies, or they somehow really repress the energy and don't even feel their sexuality. But what if we could really step into our power in a different way? And we no longer had to do any of those things. We just became sexually present to this energy. And it became so natural and so easy that we were naturally magnetic, because as women, that is what we are. We're naturally radiant, magnetic energy of this pure love, this pure Shakti life force energy. And when we radiate this energy from within our own being, when we accept all of who we are, and we say, I am a goddess of love. I am Lilith, the first woman. I reclaim my role in the world and my legacy from these women who were our ancestors, our ancestress. We have a predominant role to play right now in this transitional time for Mother Earth and for all people here. And Lilith is a guide. She's a way shower and a way for us to learn to embody the wholeness of our being in our integrated energy, in our full sexual empowered self. So one of her primary messages for women is that all women need to know the importance of this. And that's why I bring forth this message around our sexual power. It's time to come home to our wholeness of being. It's time to embody it, to not be afraid of it, to not hide it, and to not exploit or flaunt it, just to be in it naturally. I don't even think we know what that feels like. And that is something that I am here to offer to all women everywhere. So I'd like to share with you an opportunity for us to go into a little bit of a meditation, a guided meditation, just to have an imagination of what it might feel like. And from there, we're going to go into an activation. So what that means is when we say something, the power of our word is everything. You know, everything is a vibration. So when we speak from a vibration of power within ourselves, we are activating that frequency into the field. And as we call home to ourselves with this activation, we're going to reclaim our rightful role as the first woman. We're going to reclaim our sexual power. We're going to reclaim who we are in this world. We're going to say these words. And you can say these words more than once. And I will offer this. You will be able to access this information easily if you choose to. I'll be able to send it to you. You can access it off of my website. But we're going to do it together. But before we do, I would like to invite you to join me in just a brief meditation. And from there, we'll go into the activation. So this meditation, just a guided visualization. So I invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and relax your body, relax your mind. Let go of everything that I've just spoken to you about and just be present. Maybe pay attention to your breath for a moment. How do you feel? Feel your body, feel your energy, and feel your feet on the floor. Connect to the mother and allow yourself to feel her love and support of who you are and who you are now. So just imagine a world where women felt safe to be women. Imagine a world where you could walk down the street and you could be open, radiant. You could walk the way you wanted to walk. You could walk with a swing in your hips. You could allow yourself to be an empowered woman and feel truly, truly at home in your body, just the way it is. Imagine what that would feel like. if we as women felt truly safe in our bodies. Imagine what you would wear if you could walk down the street, if you could run, if you could even walk completely nude and feel safe. Imagine what it would be like for our daughters if they could grow up in a world where being a woman was a blessing, where having a woman's body was to be admired and acknowledged as being beautiful, sensual, but not an object of desire necessarily, unless we chose to have it be so. Where we were honored for our femininity, for our grace, for our elegance. Where we felt graceful and elegant, because that's who we are. Where every aspect of our being was appreciated. That the feminine, in the form of a woman, in the form of you or me, was honored, appreciated. Imagine a world that felt safe for us to be who we are. And imagine us being empowered. Imagine yourself feeling empowered, strong, potent, free, sovereign to express your femininity. And hold that feeling and let it come into your body. Feel it all the way down into your womb. Feel it in your legs. Feel the presence of this energy. And I'm going to invite you to say these words to yourself, or say them out loud if you choose, as I read an activation of our first woman energy to reclaim our authentic feminine power, to call it home to us, to release what we don't want, and to reclaim what we do choose to have right now, here in this moment. And I invite you to say your name as I say this. I, Luminessa, and you use your name, through the power of the one heart in me, reclaim my sexual innocence and power. I reclaim my sexual wholeness and freedom. I reclaim and activate the original blueprint of the divine feminine within me. And then whatever you feel is right for you as I read these release statements, please do so for yourself. I release, rescind, disavow any allegiance to these distortions, to the collective field that I have embodied as the truth for myself, that I am worth less than a man, that I need to compete with other women for men's attention, that I cannot trust other women, that I am not enough just the way I am, that my body is not sacred or holy, that my body is not my own, that my sexuality is not my own, that my body is here for the pleasure of men and to be used as a commodity. I release that my value as a woman is based not on who I am, but on my sexuality. I release that I am not whole or complete just as I am, or that I need a man to take care of me, provide for me, or protect me. I release that my feminine power is too much to handle, and that I need to hide it or apologize for it. I release all of these things from me now as I speak these words. And now we're going to do another level of reclamation from the field so that we call home to ourselves these lost parts of ourselves as we speak these words within our own being. And I now reclaim my role as the original ancestress and a mother of humankind. I reclaim my natural connection to my sisters. I reclaim my original role as a sexual initiatress and a wisdom keeper of the sacred sensual arts. I claim that I am free from the old paradigm of enslavement, patriarchy, and the role from male dominator culture that I have been living in. I reclaim and know that I am whole and complete, full, empowered, sovereign, and free. And as I speak these words, as I hear these words and say them to myself, I activate them within myself. I activate my own original blueprint of the divine feminine, my immortal, divine human self, my sexually empowered, whole, sovereign, and free self. And as I join with other women who are here with me today, sharing in this presentation, and who also speak these words, we are now establishing a new vibration, seeding a new frequency for the new earth of a new divine feminine energy for the collective field, and restoring it and allowing it to grow and to germinate back into its wholeness of being. We are speaking these words of our wholeness and our purity of our new divine feminine self. And so it is. So I take a moment to let that settle. And when you feel ready, I invite you to just take a deep breath in and open your eyes. And just tune in to see how you feel. And again, if you wish a copy of this activation, I'm happy to send it to you. I may actually be putting it up on my website and you'll be able to download it there. So if you wish to work with me or to find out more about what I offer, if you felt that the information I've been sharing with you today has been valued and that you felt that it made a difference for you or that you'd like to learn more about it, feel called to hear more about it, then I invite you to go to my website, which is www.newfemininerising.com. And there you will see a way in which you can receive my wonderfully brand new guide to being a living goddess. And I use the word living goddess because we are again restoring our natural, divine, human abilities. And we are all goddesses. We are our own individual expression of the divine feminine. And we are the embodiment of this expression right here, right now. So we are goddesses, all of us. We have a right to be a goddess. So this is a guide that I have created for you that if you wish, you can receive it by just signing up. You will send it out. It is sort of a guide and a map to understanding how you can become more whole, more integrated, more complete, more sexually self-empowered, and to be able to really understand how we can be in this new feminine frequency, that we can embody it more in our life today. And I thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.